Welcome back, everybody. This is the last installment in making one of these for one of these. This is a can cooler, Ozark Trail, sold by Walmart, cost about $7 or $8. I think they were $6.99, $5.97, something along those lines. So let's pop over to Fusion and let's get this thing finished and get it printed. So here's where we left off last time. This is our final, almost anyway, our final piece. All we have to do is put our last little embellishments on it. So I want a hole. In fact, I want two holes here. The first hole is just kind of a save some filament type of hole, and the second hole is going to be a hole right through here in case we want to put a piece of paracord on it and hang it. Those are both features of the original one, the green one that I'm drinking my coffee out of, that was designed by Commando Design and is on Thingiverse. So let's get that done. We're going to create a sketch. We're going to create a sketch on this top surface here. And we are going to sketch a, you know what, first off, let's put our line in so we can center our holes. We're going to say L for line. I am going to draw a line down here. I don't care what length it is, just that it's 0 degrees. I'm going to click to set it in place. I am going to hit escape to get rid of my line tool. I'm going to click it to highlight it. I'm going to click coincident over here in my constraints, and I'm going to lock it in to the center. Now I'm going to click it one more time to highlight it, and I'm going to click construction. Now it turns into a dotted line. That means it's just there to help me draw things. It's not part of our geometry or our creation in any way. So we're going to hit C for circle. We're going to put our circle down here. C gives you a center diameter circle. Now putting it on my line, you'll see it will lock in. I think I want this hole to be 12 millimeters. Enter, enter. And now you'll notice I can move it around, but I can't come off of that line with it. I can only move it back and forth. And I'm going to put it, I don't know, about there. I could dimension it, to be honest, but I don't care enough. I'm sorry, I shouldn't say that, but I don't. I only care about where it is. I don't really care exactly. So I'm going to make another circle, lock it in here. This one wants to be 5. I'm just throwing numbers out here. 5 millimeters. Let's zoom in. Let's move this, and I want to put this circle almost directly over the center of our arch that yeah, it's pretty darn close. I'm happy with those. I'm not going to get any fancier than that. So I'm going to hit E to extrude. I'm going to click on this one, and this one's going to go all the way. I'm just going to drag it down about there and say, okay, it's going to be a cut. I could tell it to go all the way. If I just change distance to all, I could change this dimension up and down here, and that hole would always go all the way through. If I told it an exact dimension and then I change this, then I would have the hole that didn't go all the way through. But I'm not going to change this, so I just drag it down and say, okay. So now I need to come back to my sketch. I'm going to right click and say edit sketch. Now I'm going to hit E to extrude again. I'm going to click my little hole there, and I'm just going to drag it down about there and say okay. And those are my two holes. One goes all the way through, one only goes through into my arch here. And let's turn the sketch with that line off because I don't need that. So we're basically done, except I want to put a few finishing touches on it. And then we'll move it over to Cura, see how long it takes to print. I'll print one, we'll come back, and I'll show it to you, and we'll see if it works. So first thing I want to do is modify and create a fillet. I want to go to this bottom edge right here, and I want to put, let's try 5. 5's way too big, way too big. How about 3? Yeah, better. Let's try 2. 2. I like 2. Okay. Now I am going to put, I don't need a chamfer here or a fillet here because if this was a square bottom cup, I would, but this cup has a large radius on the bottom, so I don't need anything there. This outer one here, I'm going to put a little bit of a fillet there. It probably doesn't need it. I just like it. So fillet and there. And let's try 1 millimeter. One might be more than what I want. Let's try 0.5. 0.5 might not even be noticeable on it, but it might take the sharp edge off it, which is all I care about. So now we're going to fillet the rest of it. So modify and fillet. And we're going to start with, let's zoom in a little bit. We're going to start with that one there. And if I haven't mentioned it in this particular video, to zoom in and out, you roll the mouse wheel in and out. To rotate, you hold the right mouse button down. And to move back and forth or up and down, you hold the middle mouse button down. And that's how you move things around in 3D. So I'm going to fillet that one. I'm going to fillet the same one down here. I'm going to fillet this line. And I'm going to fillet this line. And I believe that's all I really want to do. I don't really think I need to do those holes. I could. It's kind of overkill. Let's not overdo it here. And let's try 3 millimeters. I know 5 is going to be too much. I think 3 is a little too much. It's running this one into this one, and it might leave me a sharp edge there. So let's go to 2. 2 I like because it doesn't run those two fillets together. Right here, it could run that fillet with that upper fillet and give me a sharp edge. This does not, so let's go with it. Enter. And there you have it. I think we're completely done. There is our finish. So let's save it. So come up here to the save button, which looks like a floppy disk. If you're old enough to remember what a floppy disk is, I am. For better or for worse, we're going to click save. We're going to call it, give it a name. Let's call it Can Cooler Project. And let's put in YT just so I know it was something I made for YouTube. And we'll click save. As soon as it changes the name, and it saves to the cloud, as soon as it changes the name, I'm going to right click its name over here, and I am going to say save as STL. Make sure send to 3D print utility is not checked unless you want the program to send it directly to YouTube. I do not YouTube, good grief. To Cura, I do not, so I'm going to say okay. I tried that and it did some things I didn't like. It was long enough ago that I don't even remember what it was. I have a couple others here I messed around with that I didn't like, or I hosed the video up. So I'm going to say save. I'm going to minimize Fusion. And now I'm going to find that one, Can Cooler Project YT, right here. I'm going to double click it. While Cura is opening, let me talk about what I'm going to print it in. I have been using PETG for my last couple of projects, but I do not think I'm going to use PETG here. I only have it in black, and I don't want black for something I'm going to take outside. It absorbs way too much heat, and it's too easy for me to lose. So I'm going to print this in some bright color of PLA. I have taken my PLA coffee mug shell out in the bright Arizona sun. I have left it sitting in my car in the summer, and I have not had a bit of problems with it. So we're going to do this in PLA. Now, you notice when Cura popped up, it's already oriented the way I want it printed. This part does not require any supports. And I'm going to use my Chuck PLA Best Top Layer Cura profile. It has a number of features which I have found that I really like. Other people have tried it and didn't like it, like the 0.5 line width. That has worked out really well for me. That was recommended to me by one of the smart guys over at the Cura forums to solve a problem with having gaps around top flat surfaces around holes. And that cured it completely for me, and to be honest, it's worked great for everything, so I'm going with it. I am going to up infill density from this profile from 20 to 30, because there's not going to be a lot of infill in this, but I do want it to be a little bit robust when I try and jam that cup into it. And the rest of it, 210 on the nozzle, 50 on the build plate, 60 print speed, all the rest of it should be fine, 80 fan speed, layer 2 and on. Skirt, this does not require support. Let's click prepare. And let's see what we get. I'm guessing 8 hours, 9 hours, and 25 minutes. And that's fine. So I'm going to go ahead and save this. We have been running about 10 minutes now, so that sounds pretty good to me. I am going to go ahead and save this and print this, and we're going to come back in the next video. And you know what? It's only 10 minutes. I might add it into this one. So hang with me, and I will get this printed, and I will be back in 9 hours and 25 minutes. Well, no, I'll be back right away as far as you're concerned. 9 hours and 25 minutes. Welcome back, everybody. So there it is. We got this off the Ender 3. I printed this on my oldest Ender 3. I actually went to bed while this was printing, even though I was kind of concerned that there wasn't going to be enough filament on the spool. And it ran out with about an inch of filament sticking out of the feed side of the extruder, if you can believe that, about an inch before it goes into the feed gears. Couldn't believe that. I don't normally luck out to that degree, but here is our nice anti-spit, anti-tip over, anti-rock bottom. There is our ledge, and you can't see it, but it's got a nice 45 on it. It printed beautifully. And our handle came out nice and smooth, nice and comfortable to hold, no rough spots. Our top and bottom, I mean, I couldn't be happier with how this turned out. Cura, the setting on Cura to hide the Z-seam really works out super well for me. It really turned out nice. So the only thing we got to do is shove our can cooler in it, and let's see how it works. And it took me a while to get that stupid sticker off of the thing. Holy cow, I thought I shouldn't have to use 17 different chemicals to get a sticker off of something. Come on, Walmart. Come on, you can do better than that. Talk to those people over there. Anyway, and I put a little silicone lubricant on it to help it slide down in. And there we go. How's that? How's that? And there we have it. It is done. Now you have your insulated stainless steel can cooler. You have your nice anti-tip, anti-rock, and a nice, easy, smooth handle to hang on to. Does it get any better than that? Hey, I don't think so. Having Fusion, knowing how to use it, and a 3D printer is great. All of this stuff that either A, doesn't exist, or B, you'd have to carve out of a chunk of wood or a chunk of aluminum, and take hours to do. You know what? Turn the 3D printer on, go to bed, wake up the next morning, and you have a part sitting there ready and waiting for you. I love it. I honestly, absolutely love it. So, if you like this video, if I've at least entertained you, please like and subscribe. And I've got some affiliate links down there below for GearBest. If you're in the market, it won't cost you any more to use my links, and it sure helps me out a little bit. And I'll see you next time. Have a great day. Bye now.